virus done messed up 2020. I remember on the first, I said I was going to do all these crazy things like lose weight. As you can see, I failed miserably. Stop staring. I am pregnant. It's just a belly, y'all. Coronavirus done screwed that up. I was so stressed out. I was eating so much. I remember I was at the grocery store at the time that I heard that there was a virus going around. I was supposed to get drinks for a party. I put those Coronas down. I heard that those caused the virus. Dang it. Guys, I am very excited to be here. I know you guys are probably like just shell-shocked right now. How many of you just shell-shocked because you've just been cloistered for about 4 or 5 months? Don't raise your hands because no one wants to smell what might come out. But chances are we are all somewhat shell-shocked. When we were talking about the little app, did you guys do the little survey or the poll on the app? No? Well, the response was YouTube. And it was, what was the most important app during this lockdown? How many people watch YouTube? Raise your hand. I can't see nothing. YouTube. How many of y'all did TikTok? Now, a whole mess of y'all learning a bunch of dances. Savage love. I don't know it. I don't know it. I'm still on AOL. The one other old guy over there. Everything about 2020 has just been 1 month trying to one-up each other. You know what I just saw that's happening in August? Squirrels that have the bubonic plague. No, yes. My house is overtaken by squirrels. Can't be having one. Oh. The other one with flying snakes, whatever happened to the murder hornets, they disappeared. It's a big old competition. I can't wait till September. Frozen 3, that'll be the next one. Next plague. My kids watched Trolls 2 for the 150th time. And all they do is sing that song. Well, what's that song? The one with, it's a rock and roll song. It's a hurricane song. Anyone watch Trolls 2? Any of y'all? No? Because y'all watching the bootlegs on YouTube. That's what y'all doing. Pirating is illegal, y'all. No matter what TikTok says. They don't stop singing. But when the reggaeton song comes on, they're like, oh, Daddy, we're Puerto Rican. And they get all excited, right? Until I started teaching them Spanish. Their excitement for Puerto Rican went from, yeah, we're Puerto Rican to, oh, we're only half. I'm a crappy teacher. All they know is, ¿cómo se dice? En reggaeton. That's it. That's all they know. ¿Cómo se dice? En reggaeton. I'm knocking it out the park. I failed Spanish in middle school. That's embarrassing. My dad taught Spanish. Huh? I got a winner over here. I should just start giving a talk this way. It was horrible, man. I got in so much trouble about tenses in Spanish. Like past tense and future tense and all the tenses. I'm like, listen, the only tension that I need to worry about is my mom's hypertension. Because if she gets super upset, there's going to be a lot of tension on my butt with the chancla. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care about all that other stuff. I ended up failing. But I'm learning again. I'm reacquainting myself with my idioma. I'm teaching my kids the language. I'm super excited about it. So I got Rosetta Stone. Who's judging? All of you, but I got it. It was a great deal. So far I've learned, ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Adiós. Adiós. It's awesome. I teach my kids, and I've been trying to teach them. We have Spanish signs all over the living room, all over the kitchen, to have them identify different things in the house so that they can start practicing it. I've even started diving into reading the scriptures in Spanish. And you know what I found, oddly enough, that the more I dive into it in my native language, the more I have to be attentive to what I'm reading. Words are sticking out a lot more. The meaning of Scripture is sticking out a lot more. I'm actually having a response because I am intentionally focused on what I'm reading. I came across that there's two words in the Spanish language to kind of identify hope: la esperanza y la ilusión. La esperanza, the waiting, and the ilusión, the illusion. And when I read that, I said, but what's the big difference between the two of them? What is this esperanza contra la ilusión? What is this hope versus hope dilemma that I'm coming across? The esperanza means we're waiting upon something. That's where we get the word espera, wait. Ilusión, it's obviously you're being disillusioned, or there's an illusion that something's going to happen. And hopefully we can get into the center and crack open what it is that's really messing with our sense of hope. Because I feel that today we've kind of faltered, or we've kind of gone to the side of the illusion of hope rather than the waiting of hope. There's a lot there that makes it feel as if there is no hope. In the past few months, I've been reading all these blog posts and these writings from psychologists and all these academic writers and scholars talking about the delusion of hope. And as I read on the articles, I'm like, I kind of understand where you're coming from. But I understand where you're coming from because your understanding of hope is not the waiting, it's the illusion. It's not the esperanza, it's the ilusión. Our hope today has been completely shattered. So much so that people are taking liberties of making fun of our faith to our face and asking us, where's your Jesus? There's memes going around of like, oh, where's Jesus during the COVID? Where's Jesus during these acts of racism? Where's Jesus during this, that, and the other? We had an evangelical pastor go viral this year because he blew COVID away. Good timing. But we're the brunt of the joke of the world because our hope, we have no reason for it. We don't even have a witness for it. We don't even know how to talk about what's going on right now. What side of this hope line are you on? Are you on the waiting side, or are you on this illusion side? And there's a lot of things that has made you kind of have to choose sides. You're conflicted. You're conflicted because there's a lot that has been going on in just this small amount of time. A lot has gone on. There's a lot of external factors. All right, pull out your phones. We're going to do a poll right now. What I need you guys to do is when this poll comes up, I want you to just answer a simple question. And it's, what external things has triggered you this year? And external things are simply the COVID, the effects of the pandemic, schools being canceled, loss of jobs, sickness, death, racism. Which one of these has completely thrown you off and made you have to choose on what side of hope do you stand? Are you on the side that's waiting for glory, or are you on the side that's just disillusioned? And if you're at home, participate in this. I want to know from you as well. What is that external thing? Because I tell you right now, one of the things that really got me was the fear of what's next. The fear of what's going to happen to my family. The fear of what happens if I no longer have a stable financial situation. How do I provide for my 2 children, my wife, and the 3rd one on the way? How do I go about that? As we're waiting for these polls to come in, I want you to think about the one that really devastated you. Because we all have one that really rocks us to our core. The pandemic rocked me, but nothing rocked me more than having to come face to face with racism all over again. A country divided. It brought back all these past memories of me as a Puerto Rican in the inner city and being told I can't date a girl because I'm this Puerto Rican thug that's going to amount to nothing. So much so that it started to just build in my heart all these past wounds. As you guys are talking right now, some of you are saying school. Some of you are saying church being canceled. Some of you are talking about the racism. Some of you are saying youth group. Some of you are saying the fact that there was nowhere for faith. Some of you are saying some internal things, which I'm going to get to next. Here's another one. Another poll for you is simply, what internal factors are you dealing with right now? That internal factor that's messing with you on standing on one side of hope or the other. Either I'm waiting for something glorious or I'm disillusioned by the glorious. Is it anxiety, loneliness, stress, anger? Has anger completely evolved into hatred? The resentment? What is the internal stuff that's making you have to toe the line? Choose a side. Some of you are chatting here. Some of you are saying loneliness. Another one, loneliness. Another one, depression. Depression, loneliness, bitterness. Stress, fear, depression, loneliness, anxiety, worry, anxiety, stress, loneliness. Listen, for 4 months, you probably thought you were the only one feeling these things, and this is coming from 8,000 of your peers that aren't even here, and some of you that are here that are saying that you're struggling with the same thing. If I were to do a quick right here and say, what's the general consensus, it would be this loneliness. We've built our foundations on just the people that we roll with. And the minute that those people are no longer in your vicinity, the end result ends up being this big emotional response. Can you even remember the last time you were with your people in school? Was it one of those moments that you took advantage of, or is it a moment that you regret? Because I remember the last time that I was at youth group, I was mad at youth group. And I wasn't even mad at them, I was mad at me because of my inability to communicate clearly to them. And that whole time I was so distracted with youth group. And then when things started to get shut down, I said to myself, man, but I really miss my kooky St. Matthew's kids. I miss them very much. That opportunity. You know, one thing COVID taught us? To appreciate this moment right now. I'm about to wake y'all up. Eyes on me for a second. In the middle of an epicenter of a pandemic in the state of Florida, there are hundreds of you gathered here. Don't waste this moment, y'all. Don't waste this moment for not 1 second, because your life is not guaranteed and this time is not guaranteed. This isn't like this big oh, the fat Puerto Rican guy is trying to scare us to love Jesus. No, I'm saying look to your left and your right. So many times we look to our left and our right. We look at our crew, we look at our family, we look at our parish, we look at our youth minister, and we take them for granted. And a lot of this loneliness, a lot of this depression, a lot of this stress has to be with the fact that y'all you put your hope in the wrong place, man. I remember right before coming on stage, I sat down and I was like, I'm going to write some jokes. Man, y'all don't need jokes. Y'all got YouTube for that. Y'all got TikTok for that. Y'all got mumble rap for that. Thank you again. But I'm not going to waste your time, man. I'm not going to waste your time, because it ain't going to be long until Florida decides that they're going to shut down again. It ain't going to be long until the United States decides that they're probably going to shut down again. And then what? The opportunity that God bestowed upon us to give you a message of true hope gets wasted? Nah, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk to your heart, and that's for real. Because you're here, you're the chosen. You're the ones who decided to be here. We have room for another 200 up in here. But y'all the ones who chose to be here. And maybe you thought that you came here because you're just trying to get away. You wanted to get away from home. You wanted to get away from a sibling. You thought that you were coming here for some other reason other than Jesus. And Jesus just done pulled the rug from under you, man. He wants to instill in you some serious truth, so that when our country goes back to where it was 4 months ago, potentially, you become the beacon of hope that it's been looking for. I've been reading El Evangelio de San Marco, the Gospel of Mark, and I came across capítulo 9, chapter 9, and I was reading about this father who was trying to get his child healed from a demonic oppression. And the disciples prayed, and they couldn't heal him. And the father, in this sense of desperateness, goes to Jesus, and he says, if you can, heal him. Si se puede, sánalo. Jesus looks at him and goes, it literally says this, ¿Qué dices? Si puede? What do you mean, if I can? Con todo se puede si tú tienes fe. Everything can be done if you have faith. And the father screamed out, Yo creo, I believe. Help me believe more. And at that, Jesus went to work. I'll draw your attention over to the calming of the storm. El Evangelio de Lucas, the Gospel of Luke, capítulo 8, versículos 22 a 25. Chapter 8, verses 22 to 25. And it says this, one day, he got into the boat with his disciples and said to them, let us cross to the other side of the lake. So they set sail, and while they were sailing, Jesus, fell asleep. A squall blew over the lake, and they were taking in water and were in danger. They came and woke him, saying, Master, Master, we are perishing. He awakened, rebuked the wind and the waves, and they subsided there. There was a calm. Then he asked them, where is your faith? But they were filled with awe and amazed and said to one another, who then is this who commands even the winds and the sea, and they obey him. These same disciples that are on this ship that saw him do miracles after miracles, go toe to toe with the demonic, are sitting there screaming, "We're perishing. We're gonna drown. Aren't you fishermen? Aren't you prepared for this? Where's your floaty?" But they get so dramatic, "We're perishing." Like that one time I went camping for the first time, and listen, kids from the hood shouldn't go camping. And I remember walking in the middle of the night, and I tripped and I fell in water, and I'm like, "I'm drowning, I'm drowning." It was a puddle, stand up. And they're sitting there saying, "We're perishing. Where are you? You're just gonna let us die?" Man, have we really become the people of little faith? Yo, we're asking Jesus if he can do something, and he's looking at us like, "What do you mean? Now, I know I can do it, but can you? Can you trust me enough to do what I need to do? Can you believe in me enough to let me do what I need to do? Can you pray to me enough and just let me do what I need to do?" The same Jesus that a lot of you encountered last year when there was thousands of you in this room is the same Jesus who's getting attacked right now by the postmodern relativistic thinking. The same Jesus that people are mocking right now in your presence. They're mocking him on TikTok. They're mocking him on YouTube. They're knocking him on your social feeds and your hashtag and your memes. They're making fun of him right in front of your eyes, and you're like, but no one's saying anything, right? No one can recall that moment that Jesus went in and touched a wound and created something beautiful in your life, so much so that in the middle of a pandemic and an epicenter state, you decide that you're going to come see him again. Come on, man. Yo, I'm going to be real. This is real talk. This ain't that type of Steubenville we're going to sit here and give you little cucharitas of food. Okay, here you go. No, forget that. You're here, and by you being here, you're giving the team permission to dive in deep and start enforcing some awesome hope in you and drilling some light in you so that you can go out to a world that's divided. Yo, how much more divided can we possibly be right now? Fractions upon fractions. Political system broken. Economy broken. The citizens of this great country, the U.S., broken. Our very Catholic faith, broken. Don't talk to me about liberal Catholics and conservative Catholics. Yo, those are words that belong in politics, not in my faith, man. We Catholic. And we either about that life or we're not about that life. And we're super divided right now, man. I'm tired of this division, and you are going to be that glue that brings it back together. You're a generation that hurts. You're a generation that wants justice. You're a generation that actually empathizes. Some people accuse you of being indifferent. I don't think that. I think that when you see something wrong, you confront wrong. And Jesus Christ is going to use you. Jesus Christ is going to use you to be the beacon of hope to a world that understands you. They don't understand us, bro. I've been told that I was a boomer. Bro, I was born in the 80s. Y'all math is all sorts of screwed up. I'm not a boomer. But they're going to listen to you, man. They're going to listen to what you have to say. I appreciate my Christian brothers and sisters out there that are invading TikTok. They invading it. Y'all don't even know it. They started off with little subtle TikToks, but now they're taking over dances, they're taking over hashtags, and they're doing the work. Where are my Catholics at, man? Where are you at proclaiming that truth? What side are you on? Are you on the side of hope that's just disillusioned? Or are you on the side of hope that's waiting for something? Yo, let me tell you about two saints that y'all might not even know of, and if you do, I'm about to open your eyes. St. Martin de Porres, in the midst of a storm of racial tensions, where he couldn't even join an order religiously because it was against the laws of Peru, he stood up against that injustice. And today, he's a man who is canonized and spoken of in the midst of racial storms as St. Martin de Porres. St. Martin de Porres. St. Charles Borromeo, in the midst of the Black Plague in the 1500s, when people decided that they were going to leave these people to die, he stood around and he fed them. Not only did he feed them food, but he also fed them the Word of God. No, today he's remembered and will always be remembered. And there's a saint that y'all don't even know of. Her name is Leslie Cologne Pohl, my god sister, who some 20-something years ago came with me and her brother and her now husband to a Steubenville Conference. And this girl demanded attention, and she changed lives. And on Ash Wednesday of 2020, after 2 bouts of fighting cancer, my homegirl looked and she said what side of hope she stood on. She wasn't disillusioned by this hope that she was going to be cured. She awaited her God and said, "Take me home." And she's not a saint now, man, but when she becomes a saint, you're going to remember that 2020 was the day that you heard her name. It's about time that you and I reacquaint ourselves with the language of our faith, or learn it for the first time. Let's pray.